I've been watching a lot of the videos put up by Dewayne of the Dry Creek Wrangler School, and he's this amazing old wise cowboy dude, and he's talking about people with a sense of adventure and how we should not go gentle into that good night, and how people who get successful in life, they have the sense of adventure, that they can handle fear, discomfort, and uncertainty, and that really resonated with me. I think, and it's something that resonates very deeply with what I've tried to do in my own life, and the many different exploits that I've had in my own life trying to secure success for myself in various ventures. I mean, stand-up comedy, for instance, fear, discomfort, uncertainty, yes. Huge amounts of those things, all three packed into one neat package of the stand-up comedian's profile. Doing that for so long, yeah, is always uncertain. You're always afraid of doing it, and it's always uncomfortable. It is. It's always awkward at least at some point on stage. I think at least at the beginning. It's always uncomfortable to some extent. I mean, even doing these videos, I feel fear, discomfort, anxiety, and it's unpredictable. I can never predict how well a YouTube videos are going to do. And in terms of being a success in life, like, I'm by no means a success in life. Look at where I'm living. This is all I have to myself. I just have a room basically in a supported accommodation house in Swindon, and got one book self-published via a tin pot publishing operation that I started back when I was 27. I'm so glad I've done these things though. I'm so glad I've attempted all these random different things and tried to do these things with my life. I really am, and I very much, a sense of adventure resonates with me quite deeply. A sense of wanting to get out there, do something new, break new ground, find new territory for myself, and find my own niche and dominate within that niche, and so on and so forth, and do all these amazing things and become a great and successful person in society. I've really, that it resonates with me very deeply, that sort of message, and I don't want to stop doing those things necessarily, but then, like, a point in your life hits, doesn't it, when you're, say, 30 for instance, which I am now, where people start saying, oh, you need to start being more realistic in your life, and figuring out what you're going to do to support yourself that's realistic, i.e. get a proper job and just work. And I don't know how much I can do that really. I mean, I still got stand-up comedy to pursue. It's not like I'm a failure at stand-up comedy. It's not like, at 30 you failed forever as a stand-up comic. It's not like I'm, a failure as a writer even, since the average age at which a writer gets published is 36. So it's not even, I've got 6 years left really, or 5.5 years left to the average age of publication, much less when writers get published after that, if they're not, get published after that sometimes, very often. I don't think William S. Burroughs published until he was in his 40s. Charles Bukowski, I don't think, published any books at all until he was in his 50s. So you get these outlying cases, don't you? And there's always outliers and various people who don't conform to any kind of given metric of success, right? And I have to say sorry to my parents. Sorry. I'm not the person who got a novel published in their 20s. I didn't manage to have that discipline, maybe, or maybe I was occupying my mind with too many different things. I was trying to solve quantum gravity on the one hand, and I started a publishing house on the other, trying to start a political social media site on the other hand, doing stand-up comedy, farming in the midst of all that, milking cows for 2 years, making a go of that even. I could go back to that actually. I could go back to that if I wanted to maybe, and it'd be, sort of a proper job that I could stick at, possibly even. If I could stick at it, I don't know. But everything is just, well, the adventures, I'm so glad I've done them. I'm so glad that I've gone down these roads and gotten to certain points where I can't continue, even, and then had to, you know, trudge back and so on and get back on the proper path or whatever it is. I don't know, but I'm glad I've done all these things. I'm glad for the attempt, at least. You know, the attempt of writing one's own novels and publishing them and doing all this stuff, and the attempt of doing stand-up comedy, and to have been successful at it, and to have made people laugh, and to have made rooms full of people laugh. It's a fantastic, thrilling, amazing thing when it goes well. And you know, I've never made a penny doing it, but it's also not about that necessarily. I mean, I want to make it pay one day, certainly, but it's about things that are deeper than that, more significant, more important. It's about the enjoyment of the craft itself, I think. That's how I feel about everything that I do, like my poetry, that's how I feel about that. That's how I feel about my painting, artwork. It's just about what you get out of it in the moment rather than what you get out of it down the line in terms of financial rewards. But adventure, risk, uncertainty, discomfort, fear. You know, I've become the sort of person who's capable of dealing with those things, and I think what I've done in my life doesn't count for nothing. And I hope no one, you know, none of my loved ones look upon me as someone, you know, who's good for nothing, who's done nothing with their lives, who's done nothing with their life, who's achieved nothing. I've achieved loads of things without, you know, trying to brag about it. It's not that I'm bragging, it's that, you know, it's that I think, you know, I have done quite a bit. I've used my time. I think I've used my time well, and that I haven't been lazy, and I've worked very, very hard at lots of different stuff, lots of different projects. But you know, it is what it is. It hasn't materialised in some glittering financial success, because nothing's gotten really popular. But then again, it often goes, by the same token, some of the best things out there are some of the least popular. And there was this guy in one of the best musicians in the world, one of the world's top violin players. They did this social experiment where they got him to play some of Bach's pieces, some of Bach's most technically complex pieces, for 45 minutes in a subway in Washington DC, and 2,000 people walked past him, and he only made $36. But you know, he would sell out, you know, orchestra seats for $100 a ticket. This guy with the violin, and yeah, it's sort of that sort of thing, isn't it? It goes underappreciated by the madding crowds that shuffle by us in real life. But not everyone, you know, doesn't appreciate it. I mean, in terms of following, I don't have millions of subscribers on YouTube like some channels do. I've only got 200 and something subscribers, but that in itself is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful small community that I've managed to cultivate, and it's something I feel personally very proud of. And it's something that I think, you know, doesn't amount to nothing at all. It amounts to something small, but something great, I think. Something that, yeah, has given me a lot of pleasure and a lot of happiness. And yeah, the poems I've written have given pleasure and happiness to other people, and I think I've managed to glean that, and so is my comedy, and so is everything else. And I'm glad to have given something to people that they love, that they like, and have not wasted their time, and to have impacted their lives hopefully in a positive way. And I think that's really all the best that we can hope to achieve, possibly, very often. So yeah, in terms of being a success or not, in terms of being an adventurer, I certainly am that. I think I've certainly had adventures in my life, many, and hopefully I won't stop having them. Hopefully I'll, not lose my sense of adventure, and still enjoy the thrill of things like stand-up comedy and starting businesses, and and hopefully become more successful at doing those things as time goes on, and maybe be more realistic in the future about what I want to achieve. I don't know. But then again, what's not realistic? What does realism mean? Does it mean stop doing stand-up comedy and get a 9-to-5 job in the city and so on? It's like, why can't I do stand-up comedy after work then? You see what I mean? Or stop writing altogether and do this and this instead. I don't think I was cut out for the 9-to-5 office job / go home and Netflix and chill consumer route. I think I'm too creative for that. And creativity is always an adventure. I think you always start out not knowing where you're going to go or where something's going to end up. And you integrate many microscopic adventures into a larger whole of a life adventure of creativity, I think. And that's how that cookie sort of crumbles. And you're either lifted to great heights or languish in obscurity. And the determining factor of whether or not you're successful, i.e. popular and rich and famous, etc., is luck, basically. But is that the reason, achieving those things is a reason to stop doing those things? Of course not. Of course not. It's, the pleasure in doing the things themselves. That's the most important thing, I think. The adventure is the most important thing, not necessarily the destination. So yeah, leave it with that thought. Thank you everyone for watching, by the way. I love you lots.